and welcome to another of Mrs. Packnell's Phonics. So this week we're going to learn some more new Phase 5 sounds, and it's going to be this sound. I'll introduce you to it first of all, and this is the OR sound. Now we already know an OR sound with our floppy donkey ears, maybe with an O and a R, okay? But this is another OR sound now, maybe with an A and a W. Okay, so this will be our new one today, and we'll learn to write it, and we'll learn to read it inside of words, and we'll also have a go at writing a sentence at the end ourselves that will contain this new OR sound. Right then, let's go on with our flashcards first of all. So these are the ones we need. We have at the beginning of these our new Phase 5 sounds that we've learned already. Remember that a lot of them sound like sounds we already know, but they're just written in a different way. So your first one that we learned last week is an OO sound. So it's another way of making an OO sound. So we have this sound in blue, or we have this sound in I can't think of anything else. A flue, like on your chimney, a flue. So you can get that OO sound there, maybe with an and an E. Now we have the sound. We learnt that as well last week. So that's another sound. How many sounds in the English language? This one is another way of making the owl sound. So my class frown for the owl sound we learnt with an O and a W. Now you've got it with an O and an A. And this was another one of your new sounds. This is the E sound. So we know it with an E and an E. And now we've got it with an E and an A. Right, moving back to our Phase 3 sounds. Ow, or oo. A, ch. Remember, call these out before I say them if you can. Y, j, oi, r, e, sh, z, v, ear, or. So that's another way of making an OR sound. So we're going to know this one and this one, both making the OR sound by the end of the day. End of this lesson, should I say. I, soft th, or the z. And there's two of them, usually at the ends of words or the ends of syllables. Ooh. Air, o, ng, qu, x, but mostly yeah. Oh, and two more new Phase 5 ones lurking at the back. This one is another way of making the oi sound, but usually at the ends of words or the ends of syllables for this one, with an O and a Y. And this one, the A sound, another way of making the A sound, but usually at the ends of words or syllables. Right, okay, let's move ourselves on to our new sounds. I'm just going to make sure my Phase 5s are together at the front for tomorrow. We'll tidy up there. Okay, so new sound of the day, our OR sound, okay, maybe with an A and a W, or you could say the name of those letters, which is an A or a W, which we learnt singing our alphabet song. So we are going to take our magic finger now, okay, and we are going to draw it in the air. Now mine isn't written cursively, but I'm going to do it with my finger cursively to help out my class members that aren't back in school. But if you don't do cursive, then just draw it like the one you see here, how you would do in class, okay? But cursively, I would start here and I would whoosh up and round like I'm doing a curly cur. I'd go up the side, down, and the flick. So not too different to how you would do yours if you don't do cursive. My woo, I would start at the bottom as well and flick up, and that's just my flick before I even start doing my down, up, and then we finish with a little arm on the end like it's reaching out for the next word. So you've done that in the air. While I'm popping this away, have a go at writing it on the table in front of you with your finger, or on the carpet in front of you, depending on where you're sitting. So do your ah, followed by your oo for your new or sound, okay? Right, so we are going to look at some words that contain that or sound. So in this lesson today, when I say words that sound like they have the or sound in them, it will be made this way, the new way, to get you used to writing it and reading it in this new way as well as the previous way, okay? So I'm going to get my board and I'm going to write a couple on my board first, and I want you to read them so you get used to seeing a and w together and not blending them as a, w, but blending them as or, okay? So I'm going, my pens aren't working particularly great again. I must get some new ones from school tomorrow if I remember. So I'm going to write a couple on my board at first, okay? You need to read them, and then when you're feeling confident with the or sound, I'm going to get you to write some of these words yourself first before checking in with me. So the first one I'm going to get you to do, just checking my plan. Okay, have a look at this word. Here it is. So have a look at that one. Think of the 3 sounds you can see. So this time to help you out, I'm going to put my dots on for my sounds. So 1, 2 single sounds, and then the sound of the day as a digraph. So my first sound is k, my second sound is oo, but when they're very close together, they sound like cl, cl. And then the digraph we're learning today is another or sound. So cl, or, claw. We have claw on my board. Well done if you read that before I did. Okay, next one. Let's go with a bit of a trickier one now to read. Let's go with this one. Give my board a proper rub so you don't get confused. Right, I am doing these single sounds at the beginning. Just having to press really hard with this pen of mine. So single sound, single sound, single sound, and then a digraph. Hang on. I'm getting confused about my sound of the day. It's not a single sound. So here we go. Here we have it. So we have 2 single sounds at the beginning, very close together, making a sound. Then we have a digraph that we are learning today. And then we've got another digraph on the end, okay? So 4 sounds in total, but 2 digraphs. So you can have a look at this, pause the video to have a read yourself if you want to. But we have got d and r close together, making a kind of dr sound. So dr. Then we have got the sound of the day. Or sounds. So d, r, or, draw, drawer. It's a drawer where you might put your cutlery or your socks or your clothes in a drawer. It's quite a tricky one to say because that or and that at the end are very close together. But a drawer. So it's spelt different than just draw because that's what, just without the sound. But this is a drawer where you put things into a drawer, okay? Right, it's very tricky for me to say it because when I speak in Essex, we tend to just say drawer for whether you're drawing with your pen or if you're putting your socks in a drawer. So it all kind of sounds the same at when you're from certain places in the country. So I'm going to get you to have a go now at writing a word on your board. I'm going to start with a nice one first of all. Let's look at my plan. Can we go with yawn? So you're having a big yawn because you're feeling tired. Okay, there are 3 sounds in yawn. Can you hear them all? On your phoneme flicky fingers and write them onto your board. Pause this video while you write them. Remember 3 sounds, and if you can hear the sound of the day, it's going to be written like this. A followed by oo. Okay, that's your or sound. So yawn. While you're writing it, I'm going to write it as well with my pen that's almost had enough. Okay, so let's present ours at the same time, shall we? Here is my yawn. I've got the y sound at the beginning. I've got the new digraph or in the middle, y or n. Yawn. A nice easy one for you to write. If you got it all right, pat yourself on the back. If not, then have a look at the ones you should have changed it to and change it now. Right, okay, this one is a little trickier. I'm going to get you to write straw. Straw, like you might have a straw that you're drinking through, or it's written the same way for straw that you might put under a horse for him to sleep on. There are two sounds at the beginning that are really close together. So you've got to really try and hear those two sounds on your phony flicky fingers. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sounds in straw. And those beginning ones are hard to pull out. So pause this video, have a go at writing straw. I'll be writing it on my board now. And we can compare our straws. Okay, remember if you can hear the sound of the day, it will be written like this, our new or sound. Right, so I'm going to present mine as well. Here we go. We had 4 sounds. We had the s at the beginning, straw, that was quite easy to hear, but the t was squidged in, so it was really tricky to hear. So st, or, straw. If you got that one right, well done. Really pat yourself on the back. If you maybe missed out the t, which is possibly what happens, then fine, just pop it in so you can recognise it and make sure you can hear it. Straw, straw. It's very close to the s. I'm really pronouncing it. Normally if you just say straw, it's quite hard to hear it. It's so tucked in there, okay? Let's see, have I got another one I want you to do? Try this one. Try shawl. When someone puts a little woolly thing around their shoulders, it's not like a cardigan, but it's like a little blanket, but it's an item of clothing. It's called a shawl, a shawl. So I want you to write that on your board. There are 1, 2, 3 sounds in shawl, but some of them are digraphs. So it's not going to look like a really short word because there's 2 digraphs in shawl. If you can hear that or sound in shawl, then it'll be written like the sound of the day. Pause the video while you have a go at shawl. And then I'm going to write it on mine and we can compare it. Right, apologies for my pen again. I'm going to fly a bit closer so you can see it. So, shawl. We've got the sh digraph at the beginning. Then we've got our or sound of the day, maybe with an a and a w. And then you've got an ooh on the end. Sh or ooh. Shawl. It's a shawl. If you got that right, well done, because I imagine some of you have never even heard that word before. So if you could hear all the sounds and you spelt it correctly, really pat yourself on the back. Anything you needed to correct, then you go for it so you can really see where you went slightly wrong on that one. Right, okay. We're going to have a go at reading a couple of sentences. Now remember, when you see a and oo together, or a and w to use their names, it's going to make the or sound. So look out for those. In fact, in the first sentence, I'm going to underline them for you to help you out. But in the second sentence, I'm not going to. Okay, so look out for that or sound. But also, what was I going to say? I've forgotten, I think. I've forgotten briefly, perhaps it will come back to me in a second. Right, okay, here is your sentence. Hope you can see it all right in this light. Pause the video so you can read this now. But now I'm going to work with you to read it through. Remember, if you can blend it in your head and then say it quickly as a whole word, fantastic. That's what we're aiming for at the end of the year. But if you're still happy to blend using your phony flicky fingers, then that is absolutely fine as well. So, common exception word with a capital D, which is fantastic at the beginning of our sentence. We've got do. And then we know this common exception word as well. Yeah, is helping you making an oo sound. You. Do you stretch, 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 stretch. Do you stretch your, I'm not sure if you're quite familiar with this as a common exception word, your. So it looks like you, but it has a r on the end, and that is how we write your, okay? So you can hear an or sound within that, so, but this time it's common exception word, so it is tricky. So it's made like you, but with a r on the end, and that is your. Do you stretch your, new sound of the day, a j at the beginning, and or, j or, jaw. Do you stretch your jaw? These two are working together. When, common exception word again, you. Do you stretch your jaw when you, oh, sound of the day, y or n, yawn, yawn. Do you stretch your jaw when you yawn? Perfectly punctuated with a question mark because it needs an answer, and lovely finger spaces. Do you stretch your jaw when you yawn? I think the answer is absolutely yes, you do. You give it a good workout when you yawn. Right, here is sentence 2. I haven't underlined the or sound of the day in this, but it is in there. So keep your eyes peeled for it, okay? I was going to say that some of the words that I have used with the sound of the day, you probably might have just wrote or read on the boards. So that's what I'd forgotten to say before. So keep your eye out for those words. So pause it to read it yourself. Have a good go at blending quickly and then saying it out loud very quickly. Right, I think it's rubbed off a bit here, but this is a capital W. Okay, looks a bit short because it's had a bit of a rubbing off while I've been waiting to show it to you. But what it'll will, common exception word you, that is busy tonight. Will you need a sh or sound of the day, sh or l, shawl. We just wrote that. Will you need a shawl? Common exception word 2, help, help. Will you need a shawl to help? Common exception word you. 2 sounds close together, st, st. And there's that phase 5, a sound, st, a. Will you need a shawl to help you stay? What? Well, it's a bit like warm, but we don't say warm, we say warm, okay? So that's kind of a tricky word to throw in on this sentence, to be honest. So, will you need a shawl to help you stay warm? And then a question mark, because would you need a shawl to help you stay warm? If you were cold outside, it certainly would help, so I'd say yes, okay? Beautiful finger spaces in between, capital letter that's slightly rubbed off, and a question mark. Excellent punctuation. Right, to finish this lesson, I just want to show you a new phase 5 word. Then I have showed you all of them at this point. We'll run through those again in one of the lessons this week, so we'll have a good look at our phase 2 up to phase 5 common exception words this week. We'll have a go at writing a few as well, hopefully. So this is the last of your phase 5 common exception words. We have k. Then we have the common exception word all within it. Can you see? So k, all, and then the ed just making a d sound. So called, called. So remember, when we have the ed on the end, it normally means the words are in the past. They've already happened, okay? So I'm not calling you, I called you. Probably called you yesterday because it's in the past, it happened a while ago. So called, that's our last common exception word of phase 5. I will add that to the pack and we will run through those again this week. Right, your sentence that I want you to write yourself after this video is finished and showing it to your adults to check it through is, and remember when you hear the or sound, it will be made like the sound of the day with an A and a W. So that's your or sound. When you hear it, that's how you're going to write it in this sentence. So your sentence is, can a poor also be a claw? It's quite a nice simple one for you I've kept back there. How many words? Let's count them. Can a paw also be a claw? 7 words, so it's not too bad. There's a few common exception words in there, but nice easy ones. With also, if you think also, that will help you spell it, because that's a little bit of a tricky word to throw into this sentence as well. So, repeat it back to me. Can a paw also be a claw? Excellent if you remembered all of that. If not, get an adult to write it down on a pad so they can tell you the words as you go along. But it's really good to start using your memory to try and remember whole sentences at a time, and then go back and read that sentence, touching each word as you've written it and you're reading it back, so that you haven't missed out any words. Sometimes it's often those little common exception words that go missing in a sentence when you're writing them. So make sure you've got all 7 words and touch them as you read them to make sure you've got them all. Hopefully you'll do really well with that sentence, and I will see you again tomorrow for another new Phase 5 sound. Take care. Bye bye.